Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Tametsi. Today we're going to do puzzle number 92, Blue Peter? What on earth does that mean? Is Peter some kind of description of this shape? I see that it's blue. I don't know. Apparently in England, Peter also means echo. I guess, yeah, like kind of petered out, right? Anyway. What are we up to here? Oh, geez, these look like edge clues, but they're not. They're grid clues, but they're on the edge. Very... Alright, we have diagonals, and we have a shitload of 2s next to 1s on the edge. This should be very productive. There's a 3. Another 3. Okay, well, at least we'll... This is not to say that the whole puzzle will be easy, but we sure will be able to get to wherever the actual puzzle is. After a lot of completely routine actions on the edge. And I have to say, oops, that this is an example of a puzzle where having the countdown numbers makes it easier. Like, I could do this just fine if they didn't count down, but having them count down makes it even more obvious, I think. Because you can just, like, look for 0s and 1s and nothing else even matters. And I didn't even have to end up doing anything about, like, 1s next to 2s. It was actually all just, like... Well, okay, now there's 1. I guess that 1 goes there. We're just going to keep circling around the edge. Because I know I left some clues behind. But there's just so much to do right now. No particularly obvious way to prioritize it. So I'm just going to keep, like, kind of scanning around is the plan. Until I get to somewhere where there aren't any clues left. Until, like, circling around doesn't do anything anymore, and then I guess I'll stop. Isn't there a mine here? One of these two, therefore one of these. That's the last mine. This is now not a mine. Yeah. That's a 1. 0s. 0s all down here. And a 1. This 2 needs split mines to satisfy its neighboring 1s. No, I can't decide that. These two, either one of these two could be a mine. But I can say no mine here for these 1s. Okay, that was 1 pass. If I go back around, I actually think there's nothing left that's just, like, totally trivial on the edge. I have to... Like this 3, yeah, okay, fair enough. This 3 is next to this 1, you could call it... Actually, this 1 is the most trivial of all. But then we have a 2 next to a 1, which is a mine here, and not there. And now let's just keep going on this angle. Yeah, that's a 0, so I can click here. Almost made the same mistake again. There's a 0 here, and this 2 is between 1s, so its mines are divided. More 0s. Still haven't gotten to the actual puzzle here, I suppose. This is a 1. Right, all of this must just be warm-up for whatever they're actually asking me to do. Is there something going on over here? Feels like there should be. Maybe not, though. Oh yeah, these 2 1s, of course, have no mine there. These 2 1s, no... Wait a minute, that's not right. I got lucky there. I said these 2 1s are next to each other, and therefore there's nothing in these 3. But that's not true. We know there's exactly 1 in these 3. So where's the contradiction? It's this space is not shared by these 2 1s. So in fact, I still don't know whether these are mines or not. Yeah. Okay. Probably time to look at... Oh, no, there is still easy stuff on the edge. This 1 has only 1 neighbor. So here's more 0s. This 3 has at least 2 of these 3, but that doesn't immediately help. These 1s are obviously very conspicuous, but they're not pointing at spaces where I have where I have a vertical clue. Okay, so now it looks like we might actually be starting the puzzle. Remember this, of course, we don't know about that. Like, we know there's exactly 2 in this area, but that doesn't seem to help. Let me actually, oops, oh my god. I kind of hate having to draw numbers in small areas. So I think I'll adopt the notation that this is another way to write a 2, which matters sometimes. Actually, I want it to go out to there. Yeah. None of the edge clues are obviously solvable. There's not something totally conspicuous just lying there. The thing I kind of want to explore is this one, though. For, like, in particular, because of this one here and, like, this one. If, suppose that this and this are both not mines. Well, that's kind of a dumb thing to suppose, isn't it? Let's try supposing something a little bit more useful. Like, let's say the mine for this one is in this area. Would that prove anything? I don't know, not really. Oh, of course. The opposite of the deduction I made up here is where I should have gone. We have exactly 1 of this area, which satisfies this one. So its remaining neighbors are all safe. There we go. And now we can do this area. Oh, but not this one, so I won't yet be let off. Oh, I can! Now I can actually uncover this, because I know there's a mine in one of these 2, and a mine in one of these 3. So this square is in fact safe. This 2 next to this 1 has one of its mines up here, and the second one must be there, down there, so therefore. This 1, I guess, needs a mine there. This is a 0 now. 2 by a 1, we put a mine there. This is a 0. This 1 and this 1, no mine there. These 2 ones, no mines in these 3 spaces. Yeah, you can get something out of this space. We have exactly 1. Give me a pencil, please. We have exactly 1 here, which means exactly 2 in this area, which doesn't look like that much. But in particular, there is at least 1 of these 2, right? And that means at most 1 of this whole area. But we know there's exactly 1 of these 2. So these 2 spaces are safe. And we know that there's exactly 1 mine here to be the second half of this 2. Therefore, this 3's other mine, third mine, must be there. Now this 3, 2, and 1 are working together. One of these two, which means two of these three finishing the 2. This 4 next to this 2 can only have 2 in this area, so there's 2 below it. And don't I have something here? I lost track. Do I know that this is not a mine? No. Yeah, I do. Because I have one of these, and that finishes this one. This 2 and this 2 are sharing these 3 spaces, so these up here are all safe. And I think we can go from this one all the way up to this one. Watch. We have 1 here. Therefore, 2 in this area. Oh, that doesn't help. I see. I was thinking we would therefore show at least one of these 2 or something, and then we would know about the other ones touching this 2, but we don't. There's too big a non-overlap here. Okay, well, fair enough. We know 1 here and 1 here for this 2. 1 here and 1 here. Still don't seem able to do either of those column clues with 1s in them. I think there's something I'm missing in this area somewhere, somehow. Well, in this area there are 2, right? Which means in particular at least one of this area. So this 2 has at most one of these 2. So this 3 has at least one of these 2. But that doesn't actually help. It just gives us at most one of these 2, which we already knew. I mean, we also know at least one of these 2 to satisfy this 2 and this 1. But I don't see that as being very helpful at the moment. There are 18 gray mines left, which is almost a small enough number that you could maybe do something with it. Like, it seems like a very large number, but we've got a lot of spaces that have to be mines in the gray area. It looks like about 9. 11, something like that? Definitely not 18. this 2, the only, like, if it could have mines here and here, and but if it has mines anywhere else, this 1 is finished, right? And so I'd kind of like to show that it can't have mines here and here. But I don't see any proof of that. And all the column clues that I have still have a very large number of of spaces in those columns. I guess one almost exception is this 3. It's not a column clue, it's an edge clue. But it has 5 spaces with which to place 2 mines, since there's exactly 1 here. And at most, one of them can be here. But there's still 3 spaces for the last 1 to go in. Oh, here we go. There's something that's been sitting around for ages that I missed right at the beginning of the puzzle. There's a 2 next to a 1 down here. There has to be a mine here. And now this 0 lets me do something, hopefully. No, not much. I really hoped I would get more from that. Yeah, I don't think this is so useful, but like this 2 has at least 1 mine here because there's only 3 places to put 2 mines, which means there's at most 1 mine in this area. Oh! Doesn't that combine with something I just recently erased? Because I think I said there's at least 1 in these 2 spaces. And if there's at most 1 in this entire group, that means there's exactly 1 here and none here. So let's reprove that. There's 1 of these 2. Therefore 2 in this whole area. And if there's at most 1 in here, then at least 1 of the 2 that this 3 is showing must be touching this 2. So there's at most 1 of these 2 spaces. And this 2 needs its second mine there. But I don't think that was actually what I meant to prove. I just sort of found that on the way. So let's erase these. And just look at these at mosts that are around. Yeah, because there's exactly 1 here. And this 2, well, okay, at most 1 here doesn't help anymore because now there's a 1 there. But this 2 has exactly one mine here because of this one. Therefore, exactly one mine here. So there's exactly one mine in this area for the 3. Yeah, earlier it would have been at most 1, but now that we've done a couple other things, it's exactly 1. So we can say that this is not a mine. Now these two 2's work together and I get this space. Well, I have one of these 2 and one of these 2, don't I? No, not necessarily. I could have 2 up here. But I do have 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and therefore 1 here. Problem is I can't get this through the 1 because this 2 could have a mine here or it could not. Is this 3-row any better? Not exactly. There's at most 1 here, which does mean I have at least one of these 2 spaces. But that doesn't look very useful. I mean, I have exactly 1 here. Oh. Now this 3 has its mines exactly arranged like so. I can work on this too. Because it has exactly 1 mine here, I can now say it has exactly 1 mine here. Which means this 2, and this 2 of course, to have their second mine must have 1 there. This 3 by 1s is mines here, and at most 1 in each of these 2 areas, which means exactly 1 in each of these 2 areas, therefore a bit further away, no mines. Have I figured out this 3 yet? I think it's still the same situation. Hang on. This 2, I'm not sure how long I've had this, but there's only 1 mine in this area, so its second mine must be here, and we get a 0. This 2 next to the 1 goes there. This 2 next to this one has to be mine there. That's this 0 resolved. Oh my goodness, and this area. At least some of it. These 2 1s are now working together to give me no mine here. And this 2 puts a mine here. Oh, and the column's close. This is a solitary 1. Now we have these two ones reaching out to these three spaces. Well, we have exactly one here, which means two here, which means one of these two. Not really sure what to do about that. One here, which means two of these remaining three, right? Oops. Two. And now this 3 needs exactly one of these two to be finished. So this 2 needs exactly one of these to be finished. I'm not sure if this is going anywhere. I'm just like writing down the deductions I see. And in fact, it has gone somewhere because we finished this 2 row. There's only one mine in these two spaces. The second mine must be here. So that's something. We also have something going horizontally. One of these, therefore two of these, which means this 2 can't have a mine above it. This 2 only has 2 neighbors, and this is a 0 now. More zeros, I love it. This one and this one coordinate here. This 2 next to this 1, well, okay, this one all by itself puts a mine here, same thing. These two ones coordinate here, and then I get this. Oh, this is sneaky. Look at this. In this row, with this 2, we have exactly 1 here, therefore exactly 1 here. Which means there are, for this 3, 2 in this area. At least one of them has to be down here, right? And that's all that can be allowed in this one. So this is safe, and this is the 3's third mine. Right? We now have, in fact, a much more nailed down that, right? We can almost do this 4 column, but we can't actually, right? I can nail down 3 of the mines in the column, but not the 4th. This 3, I really don't have any help on. We have, for this 3, at least one of these 2 spaces, which means at most one of these 2 spaces, but that doesn't really help. It just means there's at least one of these 3 and this one. Well, let's double check my claim that you can't do this column, right? There's 1 here, 1 here, 1 here. So one of these 2 is a mine, but I don't know which. Oh, that is useful, because it gives me this 1 in the grid. Right? If exactly one of these two is a mine, I can say with certainty that none of these are. This 3 needs a mine here because of the 1 next to it. This is a 0. The second mine for the 2 is here, again because of that same 1. This 3 needs 2 mines down here to avoid bothering the 1, and now we get that space. These 2 1s coordinate, and this is safe, and similarly these are. This is a 1 with 1 neighbor. This 1 also has 1 neighbor, and we can get going in here a bit more. That's a 1 with a neighbor, and we go here, there. What? I guess I'm gonna have to do this one with mine count, either from A's or gray. Yeah. Like, you could have these two both be mines, or you could just have this one, and that's more or less the same. And you could discover that there are no gray mines left, and then you could click this. So that's how this is getting resolved, by mine count. There's nothing else that could resolve it. Still don't really see anything going on in here, though, is the thing. Like, am I supposed to do that 7? I don't think I have enough. This one's officially dead. This one... Okay, I mean, it tells me exactly one of these two. What can I do with that? Maybe something. I mean, it's definitely worth looking at. Not much, I think. I mean, these twos next to each other, we have 2 in this space, right? Which means in particular at least 1 here. Therefore, at most one of these two. Is that helpful? Not really. Like, let's just demonstrate that the 7 is in fact not useful at the moment. We have exactly 2 of them here. And we have at least 2 of them here. And that's about it. I can't really say anything else. The number of gray spots left in the grid is 12, right? Yeah. But I don't think that's enough to track down a count of the blank tiles. And the A's are clearly much further away than that. We'll just do a quick double check of all of the columns. How about this one? We still can't pin down anything in here. This one? No. This one. Well, I can pin down a couple, but I can't pin down 3. This one. I still feel like this is somehow useful. Knowing that exactly one of these two kind of lets me say things like, I don't know. Let's actually just play with that. Suppose we made this a mine. Then this would have a 1 on it, and so would this. We'd have 1 mine in this area to satisfy this 1 and this 2. And is that right? Yeah, and 1 here. Seems fine. But we also have this is not a mine, right? So this 2 needs both of these spaces. And this 2 also needs here, so we do like this. Now this 2 is done, we can go there. We need 1 of this whole area. I don't really know what to do about that. And this card kind of seems like where that peters out. It seems like it's totally plausible for the top one of these two to be a mine. Is it plausible for the bottom one to be a mine? Well, then this wouldn't be. And we need this to finish the 2. Here, here, here. 1 of these 2, not sure if that's useful yet. 1 of these 2, 1 of these 2, or 3, I guess. We have 1 of these 2 and 1 of these 2, but what about this 3? We found 1. There's at most 1 here, so there's definitely a mine there in this case. Isn't this busted? This 2 has too many mines next to it. Let's try that again to check my work here. If this isn't a mine, then its other neighbors are. No question there. That finishes this 1, puts a mine there. This is a mine because of the column. And this 2's done, so no mine there, and we need a mine here. Now this area, this 2 is all clear. And a mine there for what it's worth. Now, in this column, there are 3 mines, and they have to be the remaining 3 squares. But now this 2 and this 2 each have 3 spaces. So I think this has to be a mine and this isn't. I don't know the deep reason for that. There must be one. some more logical way to deduce that. But as often, I'm like, if I'm stuck enough, I don't mind just trying something and seeing if it's impossible. So we know one of these, and for this 2, one of these. Now this 2 needs its second mine there. Now this 3 column, we have 1 here, and at most 1 here, so this is the third one, and we get a 0 to work with now. And I can do this area. This is a 1. This 3 next to a 1, we need mines up here, and not here. This 2 has 2 neighbors, that's a 0. These 2 1s, nothing there. I can say at least 2 of these, but that has a little bit too much overlap to be useful, I think. This column's done, though? No, it's not. This one could have its mine here. Oh, I was ready to be done. Do I have to look at mine count somehow now? There's still a lot of A's left, so I don't think it's that. But it could be the gray tile mine count. To be honest, not easily. Let's just double, I mean, we have exactly 2 here. We know that. And we have at least 1 here. Ugh. Sorry, my hand kind of twitched there. We need at least 1 here. And I guess for this 3, we have at least 1 here, don't we? It can have 1 there and 1 in this area, but it still needs 1 more here. So that's all 3. That means none of these at least areas can have more than their at least. We've already filled in the entire area. So both of them transition to exactly 1. And now this 2 needs a mine here. And if there's exactly 1 of these 2, this 2's second mine has to be there, solving this 1. These 2 1s go there. This 1 and 3 combo means this. That's a 1. Well, 1 of these, 1 of these, 1 of these. One of these. Still 10 A mines. I don't think it's possible that I can locate them all yet. What about this 3 column? We haven't looked at that in a while, right? Well, with good reason, I suppose. There's not much to do with it. I don't know. It seems like it should be one of these column clues, these ones. Like, suppose this were a mine. Then we'd have none of these. Not this. One of these two doesn't really tell me anything. So suppose instead something a little weird. Like, what if this were a mine? That would finish this whole column. We could do this. There'd have to be a mine here for this one. One of these two, which means one of these four. Ah, this is impossible. Because if we have one of these two, one of these, I'm sorry, three, I guess. There's only space for one more mine up here. So this can't be a mine. And now it's in fact finished. That square is, right? We have, since we have one here, well, okay, there's one here for this one. And there's one here for this one. So the 2 has no other mine neighbors. And now this 2's done. 0. This 2 has 2 neighbors. That's a 0. More zeros. This 2 has 3 neighbors. This 1 goes there. 1 goes there. Column 0 is that. This must be an A mine. And now we count total mines, huh? There are 5 mines left. That seems like a lot. There's 1A here. 1A here at least. No, exactly. Oh, I see. We just have a 1 across from a 2, so that's a mine. Okay. But that still doesn't solve the puzzle. So there's a 3rd mine here and a 4th mine here out of our 4 total. So this space in the middle is not a mine. And now this 2 row is done. There's 1 here, so this is the 2nd. And we can finish that out. There are 2 mines left. One of them is an A and one isn't. Well, the A mine is one of these 2, so that's the other mine. All right, actually, no errors, right? Yeah, well, I did make one mistake, but it was one that the game didn't notice. Anyway, that's all for today. This has been number 92, Blue Peter. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.